is going to be absolutely terrible because, or maybe if I have the lights in the background, oh, that improves things a lot. But still, it's pretty damn awful. I'm just going to look really hella creepy and and very emo from this angle. So hopefully, yeah, the light-hearted tone of my voice will help with this. Oh, we're getting there. We're getting there. Let's get a bit of the mosque to brighten our angle. But yeah, basically, I'm on a balcony in Indonesia, in Jakarta, the capital, and this is an obligatory balcony stream because that's how we start these chess thoughts in every new country in Southeast Asia that I visit. So yeah, basically, I arrived yesterday. I've been enjoying some good food today. I mean, to be honest, like I've been really missing like Malaysian food. Like I started my journey in, I say journey, I mean started this trip in Malaysia, and yeah, like the food was really good. And the nice thing about Indonesia is that there's some similarities between like Indonesian food and Malay food. So yeah, I've just been getting like my kind of like my fix of like koi tao noodles and some good like nasi lemak and some classics. So yeah, I've been enjoying good food. But yeah, like I was trying to have a think today. Yo, Josh, what's up? How's it going? Welcome to the stream. Yeah, I was having a think, like what does this month look like for me? And I actually got speaking of time spans, I got very lucky actually because in Indonesia you need to pay an immigration fee, and you can basically like get like some kind of immigration these like pay a fee upon arrival for 30 days. And I'm actually staying for exactly 30 days, so I don't need to mess around with any extras. And that was just all complete luck. Like I think like, or maybe it's not luck. Maybe, oh, I don't even know. It's been so long since I planned it. Like I can't remember if Indonesia is just 30 days without visa or if it's 60 or so. I don't know. Whatever. Anyway. Yeah, I'm in Jakarta, Josh. Yeah, it's a cool view. It's not quite as metropolitan as KL. It feels like a bit of like a wannabe KL, but okay. It's I mean I've been here for one day and so far so good. Like yeah, it's been nice. Yeah, I also wanted to shout out someone who I've already forgotten his name, Chabla maybe. Just before I started this stream, I checked like the recent comments on my videos. And yeah, someone watched like my last stream where I played that classical game where I managed to win. And it was just a very positive comment, like just saying like, like really nice strategic thinking and play. And yeah, like when I think back to it now, actually like that king move that I played to bring the king into the attack, this was actually like a really nice move, which I think I would have been really proud of back in the day. Whereas like now when I played it, like it wasn't anything special. But yeah, when I reflect on it, actually, yeah, that was kind of cool. So I'm kind of, yeah, thanks for the comment and making me realize that, yeah, that was actually quite a cool game, outplaying my opponent from a pawn down. So that was nice. But yeah, I was like, just before starting the stream, I also had like some YouTube recommendations. And of course, on my feed, I get the most negative, help, I got molested by some Indonesian men in Indonesia. I'm just like, bruh, like what? Like, do I need to hear this? Like, just as I arrive in Indonesia, right? Like, not that I have any plans of such, but yeah, yeah. So as always, positive and negative stimuli, and yeah, I was thinking, yeah, I don't know why I even shared those comments. Anyway, yeah, I was thinking about like, what is this month going to look like for my chess? And the thing is, where I am in Jakarta, I don't think there's like a local chess scene. And even the chess scenes that are a bit further away, I'm not sure how keen I am to join. Like, it doesn't really have, let's say, like the the community vibes that maybe like the Petaling Jaya, is that where it is in Malaysia? Like the Petaling Jaya Blitz community like doesn't really have those vibes, and it doesn't have like the sophistication of like the Red Knight in Thailand. So I'm having a feeling that it might become another like just month of like online grinding and improvement. Welcome, whoever you are. You look like Hikaru, if you don't mind me saying, just from the tiny thumbnail. So welcome. What can I call you, by the way? Because unfortunately I can't read Thai. I assume that's Thai. But yeah, so if it's going to be another online grind, I was having a think of what my short-term goals would be, and I think a short-term goals are important for motivation, because if you don't have short-term goals, if you can see the bigger picture, then congrats to you. But sometimes I think it's really good motivation to like have something. And I thought actually like maybe if I got Bullet 2600 in Vietnam last month, maybe I can actually try to push for Blitz 2600, because I've made 2500 before. So 2600 would be a huge step up. But at the same time, I feel like actually I could be a Blitz 2600 if I really committed myself. And I think that would take some discipline, it would take some hard work. And I also think it would take like improving my repertoire. And I think that would then give me motivation, because basically right now, for my black repertoire at least, I have the Garganitza Modern course, which I'm working on, and I have a deadline in January to finish. So I'm basically working hard on that, and yeah, like these next few days, I'm probably not even gonna get in much chess training for myself, because I just want to focus on doing the best effort I can, because whatever I submit at the end of January, probably there aren't going to be too many changes after that. So I really want to make sure every word is perfect. You know what I mean? So yeah, I mean, of course there'll be some like beta edits and stuff, but it's more like quality control as opposed to like changing actual content. So I want to make sure the content is to my satisfaction. So yeah, a lot of hard work in the next week. Where was I going with this? But yeah, so like I'm gonna be improving my Garganitza Modern repertoire by just you know, working on this course. And another nice piece of news was that a prospective student who was in touch like a couple months ago basically got back in touch today, and yeah, we're gonna do some lessons on Benoni, and I'm extremely excited to teach someone like a proper, like everything I know about Benoni, because I think I know so much about the Benoni opening in a way that mortals can play it as well. Like I think there's a lot of beauty in like enjoying like Tao's games in the Benoni, but there's not much practical value from it. But I feel like I've got such a practical good repertoire in the Benoni, which I think like, you know, compared to let's say my Garganitza Modern or C3 Venom, I mean I've got 15 years of experience of playing this, and I've learned so much in this opening. So I'm excited to basically give this guy a crash course over the next few months of how to play the Benoni. And yeah, he's got some plans to play in Reykjavik and basically get his D4 repertoire with black under control before then. So some nice like targets and nice timelines. So yeah, we're gonna put in some work, and that will also force me to put in some work and make sure that I have really nice succinct lines and I don't have any holes in the repertoire, because I'm not gonna provide a repertoire for someone where I've still got holes, right? So I mean I know all of it. It's just a matter of like making sure I remember all of it and I really understand all of the nuances so I can really teach it, right? So yeah, basically I think I'm going to be improving my repertoire because of these external factors, which then is going to in turn help with Blitz and help with motivation. And I think having a goal of something like 2600 Blitz would be very cool, because that would be another confidence thing. I mean, I think like for me, online chess right now, it's not really about the online chess, it's more about the confidence it brings. And I think as a player, confidence is a big, I wouldn't say issue, maybe just a big factor for my chess. And at some point, like in the summer of this year, I'm going to be moving back to the UK. So when I do, yeah, I'm gonna want to, you know, play a lot of league matches, play a lot of classical chess, and yeah, every aspect of training that I do over here, I want to make sure it has like some positive effect on my chess when I get back to UK. So yeah, probably reading more of Seven Deadly Sins. I'm now on chapter 5, Egoism. The first 4 chapters are really fantastic, like so many really nice insights. I've been making notes along the way. And yeah, probably keeping up with some arc endings as well. Yeah, always learning some new things, even random rules. Like for instance, like when you play bishop pair against knight and bishop, you want to restrict the squares that the knight has in the center, which makes complete sense. But just hearing it as a little guideline can be extremely useful when trying to find useful moves in a position. So like, you know, you get little insights and pockets of wisdom as you go when you study these games. So yeah, probably some kind of casual study of these books when I'm in the mood for it, and then have this short-term goal of 2600. And of course, the long-term goal probably is trying to reach NM when I return to UK. And yeah, right now I'm definitely not at that level, but okay, I'm making steps towards it. I think, like in terms of like improving my play overall. So yeah, that's kind of where my head's at. And yeah, so I think like for the next few streams, you're just gonna get some more of like my kind of grindy training streams. I don't think there's gonna be much in the way of in-person chess, but yeah, that's actually an amazing point, Josh. Irene Sukandar is Indonesian. Do you know if she actually lives in Indonesia or if she's living abroad? Because I have the feeling that Irene is not living in Indonesia, but maybe she is. Maybe she is. I don't know. Maybe I should drop her a message on Twitter and just say, yo, I'm a random 2000. Like if you happen to be based in Jakarta, let's meet up for some chess and a drink or something. Yeah, I maybe I'll just do this. Like if her DMs are open on Twitter, I don't know. Probably, I feel like with these like semi-celebrities, probably celebrity at this point. I mean, Irene's pretty big. Probably her DMs are closed unless we follow each other. I don't even know if I'm following her, so I'll have to check that out. Don't jump, Pepe. I know I missed you a lot, but I'm not that desperate, you know. I mean, it'd also be pretty bad luck to jump like right next to a mosque. I feel like, you know, if hell did exist, I mean, I think I'm not, you know, giving myself a good chance. Probably have a lot of redemption I need to get done before, testing the boundaries of heaven and hell. But yeah, no. So, yeah, does anyone have any questions about their own chess, their own short-term goals, their own long-term goals? I mean, yeah, can definitely share my thoughts on it. Yeah, this is going to be a casual stream today. Like, yeah, I had a very long day of traveling yesterday. I've eaten too much good food today, so we're just gonna chill for today, and we'll hit the ground running on Monday. But yeah, Irene, getting in touch with her, that's a great shout. Can't see where she lives from Wikipedia. Might be worth reaching out. Yeah. let's do a full scale stalk. Turn up her door. Just ring the doorbell. Be like, yo. Oh god. Yeah. What else is there? What else is there to share? Yeah, 2600 Blitz is going to be a fun one. I mean, like one really positive thing I can share about my flats is that actually the desk that they provide, I think it has really good like mouse traction, to the point where I noticed when I was like teaching lessons, my mouse is just way off because it's like so good traction that I'm not used to it, right? So I think that's a promising sign for like pushing for 2600 Blitz. Yeah. Also, if you haven't voted for C3 Venom yet, go do that. There's some chessball awards happening, and it'll be cool if I won an award, because then you get like a little banner, get a bit of publicity, and then more people are willing to check out your course. And I think honestly it could benefit so many people. It really could. I mean, like I literally had a look, and this is I actually want to talk a bit more about this because, like as much as I'm absolutely grateful and happy about that, I got like nominated even for one award, right, for this community author award. I was a little bit bummed at first because I saw, like in previous years, like oh, what's his name, Alex, the guy who did the Caracan course and the London course, right? Like, that was I can't remember his name, but anyway, like some IM who made these courses, right? And this guy, he won like 2022 best course of white, 2023 best chessable author. Like he was winning like all of the big awards, right? And I remember watching his like peek inside video and also even watching some of his content because yeah, when you work on like a course that shares some content with other courses, you can request that you get those courses for free because it's kind of like useful, right? As an author, like I don't want to, let's say, be recommending the same lines as this guy because then it's pointless having two courses on this, right? So I've even looked at some of his lines. I just thought like the quality was like so poor. Like I like maybe it's for some people, but absolutely not for me. And like the lines that was being suggested, they're so unbelievably sharp, so specific to certain move orders. In such a and the formatting, I mean, like I could see his like idea of, and maybe at the time it was quite revolutionary compared to like the other chessable courses at the time in terms of like how he was trying to structure the course in a way that like covers like the more like commonly played lines that beginners would face. So I could see the like spirit, but in terms of the execution, I mean, I just thought it was really poor, to be honest. And here this guy was winning like all of these awards, right? So when no, it's not Shankland. No. No, I can't remember his name. It's the guy who did like Caracan Simplified and London System, whatever. I don't know. But anyway, because he won all these awards, I had a lot of high hopes for myself because I was like, well, I can do a better job than this. And I feel like I've done a decent job. But yeah, of course, I only got this one community author award. But this is what I want to share because I looked at the other courses that were getting nominated for the #1 course, or like looking at the authors who are nominated as #1 author. And I mean, there were a couple authors on there that were also like kind of no-name authors like myself. And I was, thinking what did these guys do to get such a position, right? But when I looked at their courses, I thought they did a tremendous job. I think, yeah, Banzea. Yeah, thank you, Michael. Appreciate, the comment. Yeah, Alex Banzea. Yeah. So when I looked at their courses, they were actually phenomenal, and it really it was a humbling experience because I was like, well, actually, C3 Venom isn't that special. I mean, if I released C3 Venom like maybe 2 years ago, back when like the overall quality of the courses were much worse, then I think it would be an amazing hit. But yeah, seeing these other courses and watching their peek insides and like reading the reviews and also reading their course forums and seeing how much effort they're going into the replies, because I've spent some time on my own C3 Venom forum where I've spent like maybe an hour like just writing some random reply to some random dude who like probably doesn't even check my reply until like months later, this kind of stuff. And like I've really put in a huge amount of care into this community. But it turns out I'm not the only one, right? And actually, like, it kind of made me feel a lot better because it was like, well, actually, these people who have been nominated for these bigger prizes, they actually kind of deserve it. So, like, I don't feel like bad about it anymore. So yeah, I mean, and I think that's a really interesting thing that like with anything, like with chessboard, even chess, I feel like the standard to be a certain level just gets much higher the more popular something becomes, right? So back in the day when I was like, a 1900 FIDE player, like, 5-10 years ago, it's like that 1900 FIDE does not correlate to today's 1900 FIDE, because nowadays, like, the amount of information there is to improve, like, the standard is just so much higher. So I think like, yeah, whether it's chessable, whether it's chess, whatever it is, like the more popular something gets, the more opportunity there is for people to get better, no matter your background. Well, then it kind of levels the playing field a lot more, and then, you know, really the stand gets a lot higher, right? So yeah. His London course is way too big. C3 is such an improvement in terms of time investment. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate the support there. Have you checked out C3 Venom, and if so, like how has that been? But yeah, I feel like yeah, I don't know. It's not really a problem of the London, but it's more of a problem of the lines he suggests. And oh, this is one more thing, right? So this Alex Banzea, like, you know, he wins all these awards, and I checked his most recent review was an absolutely soul-crushing review where the guy was just like, I am so utterly disappointed, right? So I had to read this review, right? Because it sounds so juicy. And basically what he said was, you know, like he's maybe like an adult improver or something. He studied the whole course, every single trainable, every single chapter, every single variation. And he played a tournament after this. And yeah, like a line came up which basically wasn't discussed, and I don't blame Alex Banzea for not discussing it, because I mean, you know, like at some point you're not going to be able to cover everything, right? And the line was kind of like a bit offbeat from black. It was basically like a double fianchetto, right? But the difference is that the poor guy did not know what to do, because the poor guy had learned this opening course based on move-by-move theory and knew a lot of concrete, sharp lines, but didn't really understand, like, how to play the opening, right? And he just got, like, completely outplayed because he didn't have any grounding. And it's like, if he had studied my course, even if he hadn't got that, like, line, he would already have an idea of how to play because the structure has been discussed. So, like, that would, like, be so much more important, right, for players like this. And like, you know, like it's easy for people who don't really know what to look for to go wrong, because I mean, there are banners on this chessable course that say like, oh, it was fantastic, like yeah, best winner, best course, you know, and it's just like, nah, like the standard has changed, man. Like the standard has changed so much, and like courses nowadays are so much better. So I mean, on the whole, it's like a really positive thing. That yeah, the courses are much better quality nowadays than before. You sound salty, yeah, maybe a little bit, but not really anymore. Like I feel really good actually about like the kind of quality of chessable nowadays. Yeah, it's really incredible how much of an advantage it is to know an opening well. Also, welcome Tricky, welcome Frizz. Yeah, I hope you guys are doing well. But yeah, it really is, because it's not just about like the initial evaluation you get, but it's also about like the resulting positions, and if you can find an opening that suits you, or at least one that you can play well, yeah, this is absolutely huge, yeah. And Josh says, this is why Niels' course is so good. I will defend his Roy Lopez repertoire forever. It has some concrete lines, but I really feel like I understand tons of concepts in the opening. Fantastic. And this is what every course should be like. And I think like this is why it's so important for chess publishers and publishing houses to really really be harsh with their editors. Who cares like how big their name is? Like, you know, make sure that the quality is actually good. Which of course, you know, isn't in the best interest of the publishing house. But yeah, like I think like, yeah, if I was a way for like these top players to get a briefing on how to produce these works, I mean, this would be so useful, but unfortunately it doesn't happen so often. Yeah, nice view, thank you. Yeah, this is Jakarta. I'm in very central Jakarta here. I've kept the tradition up by living next to a mosque, so yeah, I guess that's how it goes. I played a panel of Caro-Kann insanely well with white. I remember Tricky. I remember you have your special direct pan of lines. Yeah, it's nice. Yeah, it's nice when you have something you know very well. Yeah, there's real variance in the quality level of GM courses, absolutely, because yeah, GM in chess doesn't mean GM in teaching. And yeah, the thing is like, for a lot of GMs, they've also gotten there when they were a kid. So that whole grind, 2500, it's like a completely different process of like thought and experience to what adults would experience, and therefore for an adult to appreciate, the way that a GM thinks who's had that kind of background, it's hard, unless they've had some exposure to like chess coaching and adapted their ways of like teaching. But yeah, it's like for a lot of the old courses, like it definitely was tough. Will your Gurgenitzer course be a full black repertoire? No, it's not full in the sense that it's against everything white can play. It's just against 1e4, but it's really like complete against 1e4. And yeah, I am really covering absolutely everything that white can throw at you. And I've found a structure that I think makes really nice sense. So it's like really flows well from chapter to chapter. And the later chapters will build on understanding from the initial chapters, and I think it just flows very, very nicely. And also, yeah, I'm working on this course with Damien Lemos, and he's a grandmaster, so he's been making a lot of inputs into like my lines, and I've been like sending him essays on WhatsApp, like asking him about this, that, whatever, and then having voice notes back and forth. So like the quality of the lines are like improving in terms of chess, and it keeps the kind of like practical side alive. Yeah, I think it's really nice, and yeah, any news when it will come out? Well, first of all, am I going to meet my deadline of finishing this by end January? That's I think there's like a good 70% chance, and if I finish it 100%, I'll be tearing my hair out because I've still got a lot to write. So yeah, it's gonna be a real grind, and probably by the end of the month, if I happen to stream on a day near the end of the month, I'm gonna look absolutely horrendous. But yeah, I'll try and at least eat healthily. I'm quite lucky actually, because the building I'm in has like a restaurant downstairs, and it also has a bakery downstairs, and it's delicious and actually very affordable as well. So it's like yeah, very, very convenient. So if I have to go on a grind where I'm just stuck, yeah, I'm very lucky as well. Like this building has a pool and a gym as well, so I should probably try and utilize that, even though exercise is a real problem for me. But yeah, Damien Lemos is in every chessable course. I feel Damien Lemos is not in a single chessable course, and that's why like my superiors are badgering me to get this write-up done, because they really want Damien to make a course, because Damien made a lot of OG courses back in the day before chessable was even a thing. So he made some like video courses, and actually the reason why, so this is really nice actually, the reason why Damien didn't make any courses for chessable for such a long time is because he didn't like the kind of move by move trainable concept. Like he really preferred teaching through a video format in terms of plans and ideas. And to make a course based on pure plans and ideas without like concrete move by move theory, it's just not going to work on chessable. So that's why like he never made one. But that's why we work very well together, because what I'm hoping is from the video segment, he basically stays true to his style of teaching. He's a full-time coach as well, by the way. He's got a bunch of students in London. That's where he's based, and he's working with them and coaching them. So I hope he keeps this kind of friendly coaching style of like sharing plans and ideas, and like of course like following like my repertoire, but like yeah, he can skip the kind of like move by move analysis that I provide, right? Which he's also providing. Like that's why I'm saying, right, we're in direct communication, but in terms of his style of presentation and like the writing of the course, I think the writing of the course would kill him, right? Whereas I don't mind getting killed, like overdoing this. I mean, I'll take every opportunity I can get, and to be honest, I quite enjoy like the explanation aspect of writing details into each and every move, right? So it works for me. It works for me, and it works for him, and that's why I think it's going to be a really good team effort. What happens if you don't meet the deadline? I have no idea. I mean, I think nothing. That's the nice thing, right? I think there's no strict deadline. It's kind of just like we want to get the ball rolling. would be cool if you can keep up your end of the stick. Because in a way, I kind of said like by the new year I'd be ready. This was like months ago, and yeah, I told them I needed more time, and they were like, okay, like in January, please. That would be nice. So yeah, I've already had a bit of an extension, so like yeah, I'm just gonna try my best. Just try my best and see how it goes. Thought you saw his name multiple courses. No, he's not done any, at least to my knowledge. Yeah, he works for the chess world. Exactly. So I think he's made more videos there, but also before the chess world, he was really big on a website called iChess, and iChess was big before Chessball, and Chessball bought iChess. So yeah, that's what ended up happening. Thank you for the question, Mahad. How has your improvement been over the past 3 months? That's a fantastic question, and maybe we'll actually end on that note. But yeah, no, I have to think about this. So let me have a think. So let's imagine like from September until now, which is basically when I started my travels. Where have I got to in my chess? So I believe, what tangible things have improved? So I would say like maybe some over the board confidence has improved, because I think I had a lot of doubts about my play. To be fair, that might have improved more because of like my summer tournaments when I played Dortmund and Prague, where I really showed myself that at least in a handful of games I can play some really fantastic chess. So I think that grew my confidence, but I'd say confidence on the whole like has improved, because like when I was in Thailand, even when I was in Malaysia, I had some important games where I was really able to lock in and play some fantastic chess. Like for instance, one that comes to mind was the final round of my Team Rapid, where I was playing like this Kevin, this Malaysian prodigy who's not got that high of a rating. He's only like 2100, but apparently he's like unbeatable in Blitz. And okay, it was a rapid game, but I managed to really outplay him, and people might think that, you know, he just made like an early blunder, that's how I won, but he was really pushing hard to fight back. And the level of concentration to convert that position and make sure I didn't give him any opportunity to actually come back. I mean, he was doing so much to come back, right? So many ideas, so many swindles, so many possibilities. And I had to be ever so careful to like shut down all of it. And I managed to. So I think this kind of like conversion skill, like this is also a sign of confidence and technique and improvement. And I think also like I had some really good showings in Thailand, like in these like blitz events, and just gaining confidence in my repertoire and like understanding like what motifs are important, what motifs did I get the wrong end of the stick. So just like, yeah, experience and confidence. I think this is something that's really improved over the last few months. I think overall skill, it's an interesting one, because I think my playing ability, my playing skill has improved, but not necessarily my chess overall. And I think it's because like, you know, my play is so stylized. It's like I think like the aspects that come up in my games, I'm going to improve in more. And the aspects that don't come up in my games are not going to improve at all, or even get slightly worse. And I think on the whole, that's fine, because if I'm like, you know, sticking to this very specific style of play, well then, if it's suiting me now and improved that play, then that's all that really matters, right? I mean, what the only downside is if I ever feel like I need to switch my style and direction and repertoire and stuff, then I might feel some backlash, because, like, for instance, let's say if I were to start switching to the French defense, and I suddenly need much more skills in kind of perception of danger, also much more skills in concrete defense, I think I would be worse now than I was maybe like 4 or 5 years ago. But okay, the key to not having that problem is just don't switch to French, right? Just be like practical with the kind of play that I get. And I think like, yeah, like by playing more in my style, I'm getting better at my style. So yeah, I think confidence is one thing, experience is another thing. like, confidence and experience in my style is another thing. In terms of tangible things like Seven Deadly Sins, I think when I started this tour, like this traveling, I think I was only on chapter 2, like blinking, and now I've done chapter 2, 3, and 4. And actually, these first 4 chapters are like the biggest chapters of the book. Like the last 5, 6, 7 are quite small in comparison. So I've done a big chunk of the book already and learned so much. I mean, I think actually, like, even though this was like way before, but I think some of my early streams when I was in France, I was visiting France just for like a few days. Like I made some really like deep philosophical streams on Rowson's book. I think these were fantastic, like some of the insights there. Basically, I remember one of them was like kind of like Rowson's calculation with prejudice. I think this is what I called the stream. And basically, because Rowson's a very intuitive player, he would kind of like have certain prejudices about the position and the direction it was going when he was calculating, and getting burnt because of that, because he wasn't being objective about like what resources were there at the final position, because he already felt that the position was a certain way. And he was kind of like, suggesting that, calculation, you got to try and detach yourself from these emotions and just stick to what is actually on the board and in the position. So yeah, like just random things like this just really make you think, and just I definitely feel like the first read through is kind of going to be like understanding it, and like definitely another flick through would be really good, and just make some notes on like all of the key points. I think this would be very useful, and then just like read the notes as like a bullet point thing just before a tournament would really get you thinking in the right way, because there's so many useful concepts and lines of thought in this. So yeah, that's another thing. Like I made some good progress there. I've also made a lot of progress in the Keith Arkle games. I think I'm almost halfway, which I've been training basically once a week with a friend of mine. And yeah, some really nice things there, because actually a lot of the kind of structures that Keith Arkle gets in his repertoire are identical to my structures that I get. So it's like really direct benefits in seeing his play, because there'll be certain like pawn breaks, or certain ways that he's improving his pieces, or certain like lines of thought that okay, I want to enter this kind of position, and it's all relevant because I play the exact same kind of structures, and that means that his principles are more effective for me, because I'm playing the same structures, right? So for instance, he has this principle which I'll just share with you guys, which is called like the hierarchy of pawns. So he suggests this at the very beginning. This is a very weird, trippy kind of concept. But basically he says there's kind of a hierarchy in pawns, and it's not just like, the central pawns are stronger, which is kind of a beginner one that everyone knows. But basically he says the C pawn is more important than the B pawn, the D pawn is more important than the C, the E pawn is more important than the D, and the F pawn is more important than the E. And the G pawn and the F pawn, it's kind of more depending on king safety. So this is an instance where both sides have castled kingside. So it means that when you've got an exchange on the board where you can trade your E pawn for F pawn, actually it's good for the side with the E pawn, even though it's not a central pawn, because the kind of resulting positions that arise are useful for this. And one example of this, I mean, Frizz might like to hear this one as a Dutch player, but probably as a Dutch player, you've probably felt that when white manages to trade that E pawn for the F pawn, the kind of and you have to recapture the F pawn with like a knight or a rook or something. The resulting structure is actually favorable for white. So like just following this hierarchy of pawns, and you see it in his games every single time there's like a pawn exchange, he's always following this hierarchy. And of course, there might be like concrete factors in the position that change, whether it's good or not. But from a structural perspective, at least within his openings, this hierarchy works very well. And yeah, if you castle both queenside, then the hierarchy is flipped. Like, F is better than G, E is better than F, D is better than E, C is better than D, and B and C will depend based on king safety. So it's like a really nice little trick to help you make better decisions, or at least give you an extra thing to consider when deciding like what pawns to capture, right? So just like loads of insights, especially given that we share similar styles, similar structures. So yeah, fantastic read for me, and this feels like a great improvement for my chess. So I think honestly that is why I even have the balls to consider trying to make 2600 in Blitz, because I think 1 year ago this would be near impossible. I mean, I literally scraped 2500, and that was definitely the peak for me. But I think if I actually manage the kind of level of focus and discipline that I achieved last year to reach 2500, I give myself, at least I back myself to like give it a shot to make 2600. That's how I feel about it. So yeah, that's kind of like my update in terms of improvement. Yeah, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's also not bad. And I think, yeah, making some level of progress in chess is always nice. And yeah, I look forward to like when all of this comes about in classical chess, because I think a lot of these improvements, it's very hard to like pinpoint tangible things, but it's like a lot of stuff is subconscious and kind of sinks in, and you never know that like all it takes is like one moment in a game where, let's say, something about Ralston said crosses my mind, that makes the difference between winning and losing. Like, this is how chess goes. I mean, like, when you get to a certain level, everyone's kind of playing decent chess, and it's really like the fine details and the fine moments that make a difference. And this is where like hopefully like this work pays off. So yeah, thank you for the question, Mahad. Appreciate it, and that's my feeling. Opinion on woodpecker method 2. I've actually got this question a lot. I haven't checked it out, and my answer basically is the concept of it I think could work very well. I don't see why it wouldn't. The only question is whether the quality of the positional exercises and the explanations of the positional exercises are up to standard. And actually, going by the first woodpecker method, I actually don't think the quality was that great. I felt like the concept was great, of course, which is why it's famous, but I don't think the quality of the exercises were great. Sometimes there were mistakes, sometimes there were like incomplete explanations. I don't know, I didn't think they were amazing. I mean, for me, it was amazing in the sense that like it just forced me to do some tactics, and also lead me to like kind of reach this conclusion of shallow calculation, which I still use to this day. Also, many thanks to Frizz for persevering with pushing me to like actually come to improve my tactics. So yeah, this helped me a lot. But in terms of the actual quality, I don't think it's like that special. I don't think that's why the woodpecker method 1 blew up or something. Yeah, Josh says you do have experience in other openings though, so you wouldn't be starting from scratch or anything. You played the Sicilian before. Right, so in terms of switching, that's true, but that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, if I were to play the Sicilian tomorrow, compared to when I played the Sicilian long ago, not only, of course, the obvious, like, facts that, I have forgotten a lot of my theory, but it's also just in terms of my playing style. And I mean, this is why there's this common consensus that when you're a 1e4 player, quite a lot of players have experienced this, where they stop playing 1e4, and they really struggle to go back to playing 1e4 because yeah, like it's like you've had this shift in mindset, and it's actually difficult to go back. And actually, when you try and incorporate some of like the other stuff you have, it might not always click into place in a beneficial way. Like, that's the experience of some people, not for everyone. I mean, some people can switch very easily from e4 and d4 and probably has a great benefit. I mean, I've even got a friend who like plays e4 d4 based on like their mood, based on their opponent. Like, if you can handle this is absolutely fantastic, but I don't think everyone can. And I think for me personally, I'm especially a player that really kind of has a lot of intuition when they play, and it's like intuition can really get messed up when you start playing very different types of chess, because some suddenly, like, maybe your intuitive thoughts in a certain position don't actually apply to your position, because you have a bishop locked in the chain because you're playing the French as opposed to a Caracal. The tiny details. But yeah, I think it's different for every person, and this is how I feel about at least my repertoire. But yeah, I think actually, like, the more I play this Gurgenitzer Modern, and the nice thing is as well is that Damien has been like trialing my Gurgenitzer Modern repertoire against friends of his, like IMs, GMs, and it's holding its own, and he's winning with this repertoire. So it's like, it's giving me confidence that okay, in fairness, he's only playing like blitz and rapid games, not classical, so that is a factor. But yeah, it's giving me confidence that, like, to become, let's say, an anim, I don't think I necessarily need to change my openings. I can stick with I can stick with my repertoire, continue to try and master it, continue to be the best, continue to have flexibility within the repertoire, and yeah, continue the path that I'm on. And I think I will be improving, and I think my ceiling includes NM. I don't think what I'm doing necessarily makes my ceiling include, let's say, GM, but I think I'm at peace with that. So, yeah, that's kind of like my current headspace with chess, and my current training, my current experience, my current journey, I guess, with my recent improvement. Yeah, that's exactly, yeah. So, yeah, appreciate the support, Josh, with that comment. And yeah, thanks everyone for tuning in to this slightly chaotic stream. I hope you enjoyed this update from me. And yeah, I like to just start the first stream when I'm in a new place, like kind of just sharing some updates, because I think it's good to put things into perspective for me as well. Because when I think everything is just in your head, you can easily just get to the wrong conclusions about where you're at and like what you're doing with your life and what you're doing with chess. So I think just always talking about it, even if it's to a brick wall, I mean it's really better than nothing. So or just writing it down, even writing down, like just be like, oh, where's chess at for me. You have some flexibility with white Reti and c3. That's a very interesting point, because I actually think stylistically the way I played Reti was extremely different. I mean, in terms of like move orders, maybe, but the thing is as well, like with my c3 repertoire, it is very, even though it is structures based, there are certain main lines that still need some critical move orders, and therefore, like, let's say even playing knight f3, d5, d4, knight f6, c3. If black plays c5, bishop f4, knight c6, e3, I'm playing the mainline London with knight f3 as opposed to the mainline London with knight d2. And because it's the main line, I have gone pretty hard in terms of like critical move orders. So yeah, I don't get that flexibility if I want to play the same c3 Venom setup. And earlier in the stream, I was bashing Alex Banzea for like offering these sharp lines, but the point being is that yeah, I'm offering sharp. It's not even sharp, but I'm offering concrete analysis in main lines where it's required. Whereas like, if it's like some sideline, like remembering some like move 17 detail about some pawn sacrifice, like piss off, like it's so impractical. It's so impractical because it's so rare that exact position is going to come up, and you're going to get people writing reviews where they're utterly disappointed because all of that memory, most of it is just inefficient when they could just be understanding structures instead. So there is some flexibility. For instance, like maybe some of like like let's say a double fianchetto line, like I could definitely play it in the style of c3 Venom and not get any drawback of playing knight f3 first. So I do have some flexibility, and I have used it. So yeah, you are partially right, maybe even fully right for some players, but not fully right for me personally. To just elaborate on that, but yeah, I don't know. I think like this was another. I mean, I mentioned this on stream, but there's this amazing book by Matthew Sadler and Natasha Reagan called Chess Improvement or something like this. Chess Stories or Chess Life. This was the name of the book, right? And they each chapter is kind of interviewing and showcasing a particular grandmaster, and just like interviewing them and asking them, what have you learned? What have you learned about your chess and your world? And there was this amazing chapter on Sergei Tivyakov. And this guy had an exclusive repertoire against 1e4 as a 2700 player playing the Queen d6 Scandinavian. And I understand this was back in the day. This was like early 2000s where engines weren't so sophisticated. So, you can get away with this stuff a lot more than you can in today's time. But at the same time, he was getting objectively bad positions. Like, when I say objectively bad, I mean using today's engines. And this is what the book did. They ran some statistics. And he was getting like, these like +1 positions. He's black, so, this is bad. And he was just outplaying his opponents time and time again because he understood this repertoire. And even when Matthew Sadler had to play him in a tournament. Matthew Sadler was like, well, okay, I can play e4 or 1d4. So obviously I should choose e4 and just, blow this guy out of the water for playing such dubious crap. And it turns out when Matthew Sadler tried to prepare him, he just gave up and just decided to play d4 because he realized that actually playing someone who's an expert in a niche line, it's actually super hard to actually get an advantage when if the line is busted, then it's busted. But if the line is like strong enough to like get by, and there's so many tricky like variations you can choose between, it's so impractical to try and beat it as the white player playing 1e4. Typical's Rock Solid Chess has some incredible examples. I can imagine. Yeah, I haven't checked out that book, but I've actually had mixed reviews about it. Some people love it. Some people thought that the instruction was very dry and didn't gain too much from it. So I don't know. Like maybe it's to each their own, right? But yeah, glad to hear Ukit that. It sounds like a good experience for you. But yeah, it kind of like reading this gained me some confidence that hey, you can do it with the Gurgenitsa modern. Like, just have enough tricky move orders and different types of ways to play within the critical variations, and your opponents will have an absolute nightmare trying to prepare you, because either they spend 5 hours and prepare against everything you play, given the risk that there's always the chance that I don't even play Gurgenitsa modern, and given the risk that I'm the only opponent that's going to play this opening in 100 games. It's so inefficient to the point where they're just not going to play it. So, basically like gain some confidence. I think this is the big thing over these past few months. And 2600, this is going to be the grind. So I'm going to be trying to play some blitz. I'm going to be pushing for that. That's going to be a fun short-term goal. I don't know if it's even humanly possible for me, but we'll give it our best shot. Josh says, yeah, I read the first chapter of Rock Solid Chess. Just some French tarish where he pushes the queenside majority in the endgame. Sounds cool. Super instructive. Awesome. And you like it because he emphasizes the pawn structure arising from his choice of opening, so you can remember and use that plan for quite often. This is beautiful. Yeah, this is kind of like exactly what the chess book should offer. So yeah, maybe I'll look into it. Yeah. To each their own, but I thought it was fantastic. Yeah, great to hear another positive review, and 2 positive reviews here. Yeah, maybe I'll have to check it out, because this kind of style, like a lot of people might find boring, but I don't care about playing boring chess. If my opponents are going to make it interesting anyway, then fine, make it interesting on your terms, where I'm actually going to have the solid backbone, and you're going to be the one stressing about your position, even though I'm getting the interesting game anyway. It's kind of like this very selfish mentality of play, and this is why I also like playing very boring against the Dutch is also like a fun way, because if you kill like an attacking player's play, they just lash out anyway, and then you get an interesting game regardless. So yeah, if you know that your opponent's going to be an attacking player, you can if you can kill the game. The other risk is that you get too passive and then they attack you and then they just crush you, right? So you really need to kill the game. But you can, okay, this really has to be my final question, where I've actually yapped on for 53 minutes, which is the amount of time I should be training each day. But yeah, when do you think your course will be released? I answered this question earlier in the stream. Probably it's going to be a few months for reasons I said before. You told me on Chessboard to opening tree. I don't know how to pronounce your name. Shoboy? That's probably terribly pronounced. I apologize, but yeah, glad to see you join one of the streams. Normally I'm training. Like today I'm just yapping because I'm in a new country. I'm currently in Jakarta in Indonesia, and I like to basically just make some kind of concluding statements and about like my chess, and start on a positive note wherever I'm in, whichever place I visit. I'm glad you enjoyed some of Hikari's lines. Yeah, super nice games and super beautiful ways he turns around the positions. And yeah, I think guys, I'm gonna call it a day. So thank you guys, everyone for tuning in, the old faces, the new faces, and yeah, we'll be back to training properly very, very soon on Monday. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, I'll work hard on my course, and yeah, keep up the good work. Okay, see you guys around. Bye.